Hey everyone, Mike McClary here along with Rich Henderson and our amazing mentors in the background. We are here for the Module 5 or Week 5 coaching call. Before we get into it, let's make sure that you can all see and hear us okay. So the question we want everyone who's on to answer is, have you posted your why you're creating this business in the community yet? So just say yes or no, and that'll let us know that you can see and hear us. And Rich, I'm going to wait to hear from you to see if people are responding.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the live update. One of these days we'll actually figure out how to get the live update to go quicker.
3 seconds.
Oh, there we go. Yes, no, yes, yes. So I can't read. Barrero Stocky says yes. WMU Spatcher, yes. Okay, they're all coming in too fast now. I can't read them, even though I can't read their names anyway.
All right. Well, everyone can hear us and see us. That's great. And I'll let Rich talk a little bit about the why in a second here. But welcome to the call. Again, this is Week 5. So today's call will be about anything all the way from the welcome module up into and through Module 5 of ASM. Also, I know that we are having this call a day early, and that's because tomorrow here in the States, it's Thanksgiving. I will personally be gorging on lots of Italian food and turkey and stuffing and sweet potatoes and anything else I can get my hands on tomorrow. So that's why we couldn't do the call. And a lot of people will be off tomorrow. So today's call kind of makes sense. Friday morning, though, Module 6 opens up at 9 a.m. Central like it does all the time. And then next week, we will be having our Module 6 coaching call. Now, we'll send out an email to announce this, but we have to move next week's up a couple days as well. I personally have some scheduling conflicts. I'm going to be in the air when we're supposed to have our call next week. So next week's call, instead of Thursday at 2 p.m. Central, the normal time, it is going to be on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central. So we're just giving you a heads up right now that if you kind of move your schedule around to accommodate for this, that call is going to be 2 days earlier at the same time though. And that way, if you can't make it, don't worry. These are always recorded, so that won't be a problem at all, but want to give you a heads up. So that's all that I had for news and announcements. I'll turn things over to Rich.
Yeah, like I was not ready for that. Yeah, so it's quite funny. I literally have, so we have an agenda Mike and I put together before we do these calls, and we list down what we need to talk about. And mine basically said, got nothing. Wait, no, still got nothing. Still got nothing, got nothing. Because at this point, I am pretty sure, I'm sorry, like, I think they're cleaning the apartment upstairs. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but like, there's like a waterfall right now outside my window, a balcony. So, you know, I've talked about product selection, and we've talked about like not feeling left behind, sticking with it. You know, we're all going to be there for you. As far as Seller Central goes, if you're still having issues, please feel free to private message me. But really, it's like I've got nothing else in terms of like the actual training that's out there right now. Obviously, you've now been through building your brand assets. Don't overlook that. You know, once you've selected your product and you've ordered it, go do those. Your listing is incredibly important. I think like the entire neighborhood's just decided to mess with me because I'm on a live call. I've got Niagara Falls coming out here. I've got the gardeners next door. I've got no idea if you guys can hear me or not. Hopefully you can. But yeah, so we mentioned the why thing again, and we were going to have a competition this week, and we're going to draw 2 people's names out to win an extra call with one of our mentors and also a year's membership to the amazing to the Seller Pro. But we're going to delay it a week because I went and had a look, and I was only seeing sort of 45 to 50 people had submitted their whys, and it's such an important thing that you do this. I'm going to actually post the link to the direct thread in a minute once I finish talking, but it's so important to do this. And all it is like, think back to when you joined, when you hit that button to join Amazing Selling Machine. Like, what was it that made you want to join? Why did you want to join? Not so much like I want to make $1 million, but what that would mean to you. Did you want to travel? Did you want to spend more time with your family? Those kind of things. And I did go, I'm not going to talk too much on this because obviously I ranted on for about 25 minutes in one of the earlier, I think it was the week 2 call. If you haven't watched that, go and take a look. But we want you to go and post your why. It's so important you do this. Get a pictorial representation of what your why is. Put it next to your computer. Put it on your screen as a screensaver. And whenever you get frustrated with anything in this business, just look at that screensaver, look at that photograph, whatever it is, to remind you of why you're doing this. It's so critically important. Don't overlook it. And posting in the community your why, it's not just about being able to qualify for that amazing prize, but it's also like showing other members your why, why you're doing this. And please go and look at everyone else's whys. I think in that thread, there's probably like 300 plus, as well as like 100 comments. Go and have a look at other people's whys. See why they're doing this business. And it goes back, I think, as far as ASM9 members. Some of those, members are now being incredibly successful. And you can look at their why and look at all their badges, and you can see that they're progressing. So please, please go and post your why. You don't have to do it right this minute. Do it after this call, but go and post your why. It's so important. If you're still not sure what this is, what your why is, then do go and watch. I'm pretty sure it's the week 2 coaching call. If you go into module 2, it's the last video in module 2. Go and watch it. And you should be watching these coaching calls. They're so valuable to you. Even if you haven't asked a question, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, there's only so many questions that are out there. And your fellow members are probably asking them for you on these calls. And if you go and watch these calls in your downtime or whenever, they're incredibly valuable to you. And we did one last week with Ann Ferris. It was absolutely amazing. And it's motivation. It will keep you moving forward. This is a lonely business. Motivation is hard. That's the other thing we're here for. We're not here just to answer your questions. We're here to motivate you. We're here to keep you going. We're here to encourage you. So please go and submit your why in that thread. I'm going to post the link right now in case you don't have it. If you don't grab this link, just go into the community. If you search, in fact, if you just search by replies, the page you land on, search by replies, you'll see it. You'll see 2 threads. One is locked. They're both called What is Your Why? I think this one's called What is Your Why 2018. Go and post your why, please. That's it, Mike.
Oh, awesome. Cool. And one thing I'm going to slightly maybe disagree with. Slightly. Here we go. I want to get Rich's ears perked up here. This can be a lonely business. But here at ASM and inside of Amazing, that's one of the big reasons you're here. Totally agree with Rich that this can be a lonely business. If you're doing this without community, without support, without making friends and contacts, without networking inside of the community we've built for you, it really can be. You can feel like you are struggling and doing this by yourself. That's probably one of the most valuable reasons that you joined Amazing Selling Machine, is not just for the training, not just for the tools, not just for the mentoring, but for the community you have here, and take advantage of it. It's awesome. I have made some of the best friends in my entire life through building this business and joining Amazing Selling Machine. And it's incredible. And I can't imagine my life without it. And I want you guys all to experience that as well. And posting your why will help make you realize why everyone else is here and also feel closer to everyone else that you're now building your business with. So for my topic, I only have one thing to talk about, and that is the upcoming Module 6 that's releasing this Friday. And in Module 6, it's all about doing what's called the Launch, Blitz, and Rank. Now, granted, probably no one watching this call is quite ready for that, unless we might have a few people who've worked really, really quickly, found a product that's sourced domestically, was able to get it up and running in maybe 3 or 4 weeks. Maybe there are a few people, but most people are probably still just ordering their product right now, hasn't been made and shipped yet. So don't worry if you're not there. I'm not trying to stress you out. If anything, I want to make you get excited about this because I just finished up re-recording some of the lessons in Module 6. Amazon made changes literally 3 days ago to one part of how you actually use sponsored product ads, which is a part of the launch process, as a matter of fact. So I want to make sure that's incorporated into there so you knew whether to use this new feature or not. And so all of the training for Launch, Blitz, and Rank has been updated and refreshed. And you guys, ASMX members, are getting access to the absolute newest version that is easier than it was 6 months ago. So there's been a release of some new functionality inside of Amazon that I've been testing over the past 4 or 5 months to make sure that if it worked correctly, it would still get us the same results when launching your product. And it does. And not only does it allow us to get the same results, I think it's allowing us to get better results as well. And it has to do with using what's something called Amazon coupons instead of using Amazon promotions. Now, they may sound very familiar or similar, but there are some subtle differences to them. I've always wanted to use Amazon coupons because they're so much easier to set up and track, but there were some things you couldn't do with them previously. Now they're things that you are, and they can go live much sooner than they did before. So I've redone all the launching of your product using just Amazon coupons and focusing just on Amazon coupons. I've taken out the fluff that, still can provide a little bit of value, but it isn't really providing the biggest boost and burst to your ranking. I've removed that to make this simpler. Don't get me wrong, when you go through the training, it's some very long training still. It's shorter than last time, but it's still very long. You may feel a little overwhelmed, but it is much more streamlined than people who started watching this even got 6 months ago. And I'm really excited to see you guys get access to that. We've been using it now for the past, like I said, 4 or 5 months. It's working great. You guys are going to get access to this. Once your product's live, you can use it. And so just be excited about this. The launching system we have is really, really cool. I haven't even announced the changes to the rest of the community yet. I wanted you guys on this call to hear it first. That's one of the benefits of joining ASMX. You get access to all the latest training before anyone else. And this part in particular is completely updated. And I'm really excited to announce that for everyone on the call. So just something to look forward to once your product is ready to go and up and selling. Now, the only thing I guess we're going to go right now is go into the questions and answer part of the coaching call. So Rich, if you want to come back on, and then we can start going through the Q&A.
Yeah, want. I'm not sure that's the right word to use. Right. Yeah. So I'm going to start jumping into these questions straight away, and I'm actually going to go in reverse order. So my little lot, his question is, when is SellerCon need to request time off work in advance? That's awesome that you're thinking ahead. The dates are, let me see if I can remember this, June 21st through June 23rd. Mike, jump in if I got that wrong. I actually had to ask the mentors because I totally forgotten. I'm assuming it's right because no one's jumped in. So another question from my little lot. I just finished watching module 2, and one of my products is very similar to the example used in the videos. And another product has a couple of size options. Should I redo my product list? So the interesting thing about these videos and like us showing products in them is that, people always ask us that, 800 people are going to see this product. Is it a good idea to do it? And it's always a bit of a catch-22 because, at the end of the day, most people are going to think exactly what you're thinking, which is, I'm not sure I should do this now. But then, other people are thinking, they're double guessing that. And they're thinking, well, everyone's going to think that, so I'm going to do it. At the end of the day, it's unlikely that a huge number of people are going to use a product that has been shown in the videos. So I wouldn't rule it out. But as for your other one, you said that another product has a couple of size options. A couple of size options is fine, especially if Jungle Scout will show you the different BSRs for each size. Do check that, because if they do, then you know which size is the most popular. If it's just a couple of different sizes, then you're probably going to be okay. The same as if it was just a couple of colors. It's when you get into situations where, you've got 4, 5, 6 variations. However, having said all that, if you're not comfortable, then by all means go back and go through your searches again and see, if you can find something you're more comfortable with. I know that's not an exact answer. Without knowing exactly what product is, it's difficult to give you an exact answer. But like I say, if you feel uncomfortable at all, then, go back and look for some more products. So I've got a question from Benjamin Wilhelm. Help, my Facebook account keeps on getting closed down for no reason. They want to pick, but it stays open for 2 days and it happens again. I'm not sure this one. I know Facebook can be a bit weird. What they normally expect, like someone's hacked your account, they will close it down, and then they ask you to verify pictures of friends that are on your account, something on those lines. I do need a little bit more information. If you can go and make a post in the community, just say my Facebook account keeps getting closed down, and tag me in that and explain exactly what's happening. Either myself or one of the mentors will jump in and help you. It is a pain in the neck. It happened to me about 18 months ago. And because I got no idea how many friends I've got, but a lot. And of course, they're mostly ASM members who I don't actually personally know or I've never met. and possibly don't recognize their images. So Facebook gets sending me these, identify these 3 friends. And it's like, I got no idea. But eventually I managed to figure out a way of doing it. And they actually, if I remember rightly, I had to get one of my friends to submit something saying it was actually me, something on those lines anyway. But
yeah, and I didn't do it. I messed with them totally.
Well, yeah, you didn't. Someone else did. You know,
hey, but Rich,
friend
on that note, the reason I popped in is that Facebook over the past 24 to 48 hours has been having all kinds of issues. Instagram was down, Facebook was down, ad creation was shut down. So if the issue you've had has been over the past couple of days, it might be related to that as well.
Yep. Obviously, if it's been going on for longer than that, then make a post. Or make a post anyway. We'll have a look at it. And yeah, I thought that was very, I don't know, like amusing is probably the wrong word. The fact that Facebook ads were down 2 days before Black Friday. Weird stuff happens. This is from, oh, hold on, I just skipped straight past someone. Khalil Madani, do I have to pay $40 every month for Seller Central, even if I don't start selling yet? Knowing that the whole process will take at least 4 months to launch the product. Well, it probably won't take you that long, but I understand what you're saying. So here's the thing. The reason we recommend starting with the professional account, in other words, the one that costs $40, you're more likely to get approved. And the problem is if you have an individual account, when you upgrade to professional, a lot of the time it repeats the process. It's almost like you're starting a new account. So you have to go through all the verification again, which can be a pain in the neck. So that's the main reason we say stick with professional. There is something you can do about this. If you pay it until you're ready to launch, or you've ordered your inventory or whatever, you can contact seller support and say, look, you know, we had some issues with quality control. We wanted to make sure the products were the best we could possibly have. So we didn't start selling as soon as we thought. So we've had our account for 4 months, but we haven't actually had anything on sale. Is there any way we can get a refund? That sometimes works, but at the end of the day, for me, you know, 4 months, that's going to be $160. And I realize that's a lot of money to a lot of people. But the way I look at it is, and especially because I have to deal with so many issues with getting people setting up with Seller Central, the $160, if it takes those 4 months, is worth the price of not having your account questioned. If the $160 is not critical to you, you know, to your life right now, keep paying it. Don't let it worry you. As I say, for me, it's well worth the price of not having an account with you. I've got another one from Benjamin. I have my products in baking supply section. Do I send to my social media around baking, or should I make it more broad because I might branch out into cooking or other kitchen supplies? Absolutely. What you could do in this situation is, you know, if this is your first product, you could concentrate on baking. But like with your social media and your website, which is assume what you're talking about, like content-wise, then you can stretch it. You know, at the end of the day, cooking has a huge niche, and baking is part of that. I don't think it's a stretch by any means for a baking blog to cover something else, like a kitchen appliance or, you know, a different type of cooking. So absolutely, you can broaden it. What I would say is when you get close to launch, then stick to baking. Stick to baking specifically because that's what your product's about. Okay, I'm going to guess this is Moghand. I am still on module 2, but I would like to know if there's anything in special to look the week before Black Friday or any other big event on sales on Amazon.com. We will understand and learn when we will be launching products. So for you guys, obviously, you're just finding your products. There's nothing you can do right now. You're not going to be ready. As far as like Black Friday and the other huge day is Prime Day. I can't remember for the life of me. I think it's June. Those 2 days are the biggest days. And, you know, we do post advice about how to deal with that. What I would say is once your product's live and you're getting close to one of those days, a big day, actually Valentine's Day can be a big day in certain niches too. But when you get to that special day, a couple of weeks, 3 weeks before, post in the community and say, has anyone got any advice for the upcoming Black Friday, the upcoming Valentine's Day, the upcoming Prime Day? Because we do actually give out tips and stuff before these days in the community for those people that have got their product launched. And another question from the same person. I would like to know if a product that meets the ASM criteria but have the following reviews is too competitive and should be avoided. Trying to read through, it's a very long question. So basically what he's saying, it matches all the criteria and the reviews are 4,039, 3,975 and 554. So those basically just scrape in. What the issue I see with this is that I would like to see what the 4th, 5th and 6th are. Because although, you know, our recommendation is at least one of these products should have less than 1,000, the fact that the first two are basically 4,000 and above does point to a pretty competitive product. I would look at the other ones. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, strictly speaking, if you can get onto page 1, you're doing good. With this kind of product, I'm assuming it's pretty high revenue. If you can get on page 1, you're good. So if you're looking at the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th product for those keywords, for the main keyword, and their reviews, you know, like 50, 100, whatever, then it's a possibility. What I would say to you with this product is, you know, add this to your opportunity list. And when you go through the lesson on narrowing down your list, see how it compares with the other products you've found. It's exactly why we recommend you build a list of like 12 to 15 products or more, and then narrow it down to your best 3. So, you know, by all means, put it on your list, and then just see how it fares when you go through the lesson on narrowing down your list. Jean Bizard, is it okay to order our inventory without having our Sell Essential account activated yet? Because of Chinese New Year and Spring Festival, my supplier needs me to order next week, so I'm facing a dilemma. I know freight forwarders can stock our inventory, but it is a clever option. Highly recommend you do not place an order for your inventory until your Sell Essential account is activated. I do recognize your name. I can't remember whether we're actually in private message conversation or it was just in the community. If it's just in the community, then do send me a private message and let me know where you are. If we're already talking by private message, I do apologize for not remembering because I have got a lot of people I'm helping right now. Get in there, post, and like tell me you're ready to order your inventory, and we'll see if we can speed this up. At the end of the day, you know, I will keep working with you until you get approved. The issue is, you know, if that takes another 2 months and you order your inventory, you're going to have your inventory sat for 2 months at your freight forwarder. And while it's cheaper than Amazon, it's still an expense. I wouldn't recommend doing it. Explain to your supplier. At the end of the day, these people, they're trying to push you because they want to get these orders in. And it's like completely understand what they're doing. But just explain to them that you can't place that order until you get your account approved, and you're working on that, and you've got people working on that with you. But as soon as your account's created, you'll place that order. Zahira BH21. I have found my product opportunity. Awesome job. I want to know how important it is to have a lot of knowledge on the product. The product, I'm not very experienced with the product. My worry is if I launch the product, I won't know a lot of technical questions. So you've got time. At the end of the day, you know, you found your product. If you place that order today, you know, it's probably going to be 6 to 8 weeks maybe before it actually goes live. That's plenty of time for you to go and research, you know, the product, research the niche, understand more about it. At the end of the day, the easiest way, in my opinion, is to go and look at all your competitors and look for the Q&A, questions and answers section, because that's where you're going to see not only questions from customers, but also questions that the excuse me, the seller has seeded by getting them into that section. If you go through all of those, and you also look at reviews and look at the supplier's answer to reviews, you can learn so much about the product, you know. And then, you know, once you've done all that, go and look on Google, search for the product, see what other people are talking about, get familiar with the niche. You, like I say, you've got 4 to 6 weeks to do that. That is plenty of time to become an expert. So don't let that worry you. You know, I said a few times earlier on in other calls that being passionate and being an expert on your product is, you know, it's fantastic. But at the end of the day, once your product's launched and you're making sales, you become passionate about it. But as far as expertise, you can learn expertise, and you've got plenty of time to do it. I think this is my last one, Mike. Abeth1103. We would like to use Instagram as a large portion of our advertising, similar to Anne's marketing approach mentioned in the previous call. How in-depth will the lessons get regarding Instagram? Do you think we should reach outside of ASM for further instruction if this is a marketing focus? So I did talk to Anne about this. She didn't do any other courses on Instagram. She didn't look for outside information. She just went through it and like started like literally posting and learning as she went. Now, I think if you want to post in the community and ask that same question, I'll get Anne to jump in. But at the end of the day, she learned by trial and error. Most social media is pretty much the same. It's a question of building interaction and relationships with your customers or your followers. It doesn't necessarily mean their customers. So post interesting content. With Instagram, images work really well. I know Anne has a lot of success with images. But post on a regular basis, post interesting stuff, interact with people, you know, and start building your followers now. We don't have specific training on it. It's something we're starting to see get better results from other people. It is a little bit, it does look as though it's a little bit niche specific right now, but you know, just it's the same for all of them. But you know, if you want to know more about what Anne did, then by all means, post in the community, create a post and tag Anne, and she will be absolutely delighted to jump in there and help you out. That's all mine, Mike.
All righty. So I will get. Oh, I hear it. Oh. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so first question is from Shannon Feedham. Should we get our first shipment sent to our house by our freight forwarder before sending it off to Amazon so that we can inspect the products in our first order ourselves? I was thinking of taking one of the products out of this order for use in creating product images of the finished product. Would you recommend doing this? Or should I just have the freight forwarder ship it straight to Amazon and arrange for our supplier to send us an extra product for our product photography instead? So, there's no right or wrong. I know I say that all the time, but we did this. So for our first products, like probably the first 4 or 5 orders, we had all of them sent to my house. My wife hated it. We actually got, pallets of products sent in. I'd have them in the garage for a while because I wanted to see them. I just really wanted to double check quality every single time. So what you're suggesting, we did for a while. And I do, if this is your very first time creating your product and you don't really, if you have never seen your finished product, and you want to make sure that it's really good, I would suggest having it sent to your house first. Keep in mind, it's going to increase the costs because you'll be shipping products to your house and then shipping them off to Amazon. That's going to happen. It's something you'll pay extra for. If you can afford to do it, I would do it. There's nothing quite like holding the product that you just created for the first time and checking it out. Plus, you can absolutely check and see if there are any issues. Do some spot checks, make sure the packages aren't damaged, the shipping crates aren't damaged at all. So yeah, that if you are able to, I would do that. Now, another option though, if you don't want to, spend the extra money on that shipping, you could have them sent all into Amazon. And then you could either have your supplier send you an extra one. For example, they can just hold one out of that shipment and send it to you. Or if you're not in a rush, like if you don't mind having your product get to Amazon and then waiting a few days for your final photos, you could then have one of your products that got shipped into Amazon sent to you via an FBA shipment. There's a way to go inside of your Amazon account and just have a product sent to anyone. You could do that. Or another option, you could have your freight forwarder pull one of the products out and send it straight to you. That would be a cheaper option as well. So either way, one, if you can do it, have them sent to your house. I like doing that for your first one, especially. If not, have them sent to Amazon. And then the easiest option is once they get there, then just create a fulfillment order, have it sent to your house so you can make your pictures. It'll delay it by about a week or so because you'll need to have that sent to you and take your photos and everything. But that is another option. All right, from Khalil Madani. Someone told me that in order to lower the shipping costs of the samples, I should order them and have them all sent in one package at once. How can I do that? I've heard that before. I've never done that. That absolutely is an option, but you have to find a company that will do that. So, and what Kelly means is that if you're getting 3 samples from 3 different suppliers, then you could be spending like $50 on each one of those, maybe even a little more because shipping is really expensive. And since shipping is the most expensive part, it'd be really cool if those 3 suppliers could get together, give them to one of them, and then they all go out in one shipment, because that's the most expensive part of it. But clearly, you don't want your 3 suppliers kind of like doing that together, because they're competitors right now. So I don't know of a service that does that. I know there are services that will consolidate this for you. The best thing I can think of is actually to post in the community. And I think some of our members will have used that in the past, used a similar service. So Khalil Madani, if you could post that community, someone who's actually used that hopefully will have an answer for you and give you an option for a company that consolidate those and save some money. Again, I don't do that myself, otherwise I'd give you the answer. Also from Kalo, do I have to have an EIN to import my product? Now, the answer is if you're from outside the US, you do need what's called a tax ID number in the United States in order to import your products. And it's real easy to get. Now, I'm going to post this, actually make a broadcast here inside of here, 1 second, to get EIN. You guys are hearing me type, by the way, from outside the US. And there we go. I just posted a link to everyone that will give you the exact link to go to. As you can see by going to that link, scroll down a little bit, there is actually a phone number you can call if you live outside the US, and you can talk to someone here from the Internal Revenue Service about getting an EIN. Now, you might have to fill out a form, but they'll tell you everything you need to do. Most of the people who've done this can get that number set up right there on the phone. You don't even got to do anything else. They'll fill in information for you. Now, they may be behind. They may ask you to submit a form instead of giving to you over the phone. That's a possibility. But go to that page, find the number about how you get an EIN if you're from outside the US, and that will give that to you. Now, most freight forwarders are going to require you to have that. And even if you don't use a freight forwarder, I'm pretty sure you still have to have an EIN in order to import products. So yes, you want to go ahead and get that. It's free to get. From Triple Joy, I found a bulky product that is more convenient to ship FCL than LCL. I plan to label the product at the factory. Also, I also plan to have an inspection done before the shipment. So is there a way to know in advance from Seller Central which Amazon fulfillment center the container will go to? I guess I'll have to provide my freight forwarder with the address of the fulfillment center. The question is, no, there is no way to know that. Until you go into your Seller Central account and you create that shipment, you don't know which fulfillment center it's going to go to. However, in Module 6, it opens up on Friday, I'm going to walk you through that process. So if you're using a freight forwarder, first off, that's great. And you're having your product, inspected, that's great. You can have that sent to Amazon. You just go inside of your Amazon Seller Central account, follow the instructions I'm giving you when the module opens up this Friday, and you'll be able to create your shipping labels. And so then what'll happen is you can print out all those labels. Just keep in mind that shipment most likely will have to go to 3 different fulfillment centers. Usually, until you start selling for a while, you have to split up your shipment into 3 different fulfillment centers. So it might not be possible to send all that to one single Amazon fulfillment center. And so what your freight forwarder will need to do, they'll need to receive that container, and then they'll need to split that up into the 3 shipments and get it sent off to the different fulfillment centers. But again, until you create that shipment, you won't know where it's going to. Okay, from Civil 22222. I've had my product shipped to my home for inspection, for label placement, etc. before shipping to Amazon. I now want to print some of the labels myself. In your opinion, which printer is best for label printing? A Brother laser printer or a DYMO thermal printer? Now, I'm not an expert on printers, but I can tell you this. The easiest ones that we've used and that just seem to work the best are inkjet printers or laser printers. I've used thermal printers in the past, but they're so specific and they're really good only for certain things that I wouldn't go out there and buy a thermal printer. I would just go out there and get an inkjet printer that you can use for all other things because they work totally fine. I usually get the Avery labels, the kind you can buy at any kind of office store, and I print them out myself. So I create them using Microsoft Word or Google Docs. I print them out on my inkjet printer, and then you can do the labeling yourself. Those kind of printers you can get for under $100, and they work great. So an inkjet is what I use. I've used HP in the past. I've used Epson. I haven't used a Brother one before, but those are the ones that I've used and work great. Thermal printer, I wouldn't spend the money on that. All right, from Civil also. My product has been in the hazmat review process for over a month now, and I'm not able to convert it to fulfilled by Amazon. So I can't get the FN SKU. I've been calling every 4 days and it's still not resolved and extremely frustrating. I thought I picked a great product. And he's mentioning, or he or she's mentioning the type of product here. I don't want to say that on the call, but didn't realize that it's flammable, considered hazmat. And that is the case. If you have a product that is oil-based and it can be flammable, you have to go through the hazmat process. Now, hopefully the way to get through that, and it takes a while, is that if your supplier can produce an MSDS sheet, it's a material safety data sheet that shows how flammable it is. And hopefully it's not explosive. It's just combustible, I believe is the term. Then they should be able to get it into their FBA. They should be able to accept it into FBA. But there are products out there like oils that if it's too flammable, Amazon can't take on the risk of putting it into their warehouses, because then they're putting all the other products at risk at the warehouses as well. So also this person mentioned that the last Seller Central support person I talked to finally sent them over to the captive team. And then that person hung up on me. Now, the captive team is the right person to talk to. So if you can get sent to the captive team, that is absolutely the right team to talk to. Keep in mind, though, you have to be incredibly polite and professional with these people, because if you're overly frustrated on the call with them, and I know you are frustrated, but if you take it out on them, they won't want to work with you and help you. Like they are awesome to work with. I've only had to work with the captive team a few times in the past, and the captive team is just really high level of support inside of Amazon that it's hard to get a hold of them. But if you have a really big issue and you ask for the captive team, there is a chance they'll get you sent over. I would try to get sent over to them again, be incredibly professional and respectful to them, and ask them exactly what you need. I would ask them if you can get an MSDS sheet that meets their needs, if that will help resolve the situation. And I imagine they'll say yes. And then you should get that from your supplier. Make sure the supplier puts your company name on it, because it has to be within your name to show that it's manufactured for you, and that it's not going to exceed their flammable limits they're allowed to have. But I'm sorry to see you going through that, but keep it up. Hopefully you'll get that resolved quickly. From WPP Feister. This is more of a longer term question, but do you have suggestions on how and when to stop reinvesting all your profits back into the business? And moreover, how much of your profit do you think it takes to use for new inventory? I know cash flow is such an important part of this business. I'm close to launching my first product, and I've heard that breaking even the first shipment product is fairly good goal to have. So this is a tough one again, because it really depends on what your goals are with the business. If you're okay with growing very slowly, then you could start taking out profits as soon as your first order. But if the faster you want to grow, the more you should put back into your business. So the more that you're able to reinvest your profits into more and more inventory and more products, the faster you will grow. So there is no single answer to your question, unfortunately. And I don't even know to tell you like how much of the profit you think it needs to take. I'll tell you the formula that my brother and I kind of used. So for the first, I don't remember exactly what it was, maybe first half a year while we were selling, we put everything back into the business. And what we did, we didn't set a time limit. We set a goal, a revenue goal, before we could start taking out any of the profits. And once we hit that goal, and I believe it was around $25,000 in sales a month, we decided that we're going to start taking out 25% of the profits and giving it to ourselves. And then when we hit the next goal, we started taking out 50% of the profits and using that to pay ourselves. And then at that point, we've always kind of put back in half of our profits into our business going forward, just to continue growing and growing our sales, because we never want to stop growing. So what I would look at is figure out your numbers, figure out your profit numbers, and then I would set goals for yourself. Like when you get to, maybe for you, it's 10,000 or 15,000. When you get to that point, take out a part of the profits. And then when you reach another goal, take out a bigger part of the profits. That's my best advice on that. From Maynarin, I'm confused about the UPC. Are we supposed to give the UPC to our supplier before they start production? And then will Amazon relabel their barcode on my product? Sorry that I have a language barrier, and I hope you understand it. Not a problem at all. Your language is really good, probably much better than me trying to speak your native language. You're doing excellent. So in the training, we suggest that your product has a UPC barcode on it. So if you have packaging for your product, you're going to have that barcode on it. Now, it may seem like that's a waste of time, because then when your product, so you do need to give, you're right, you do need to give your supplier that barcode and put that in either into your packaging or have them print out a sticker with that UPC barcode on it. Now, when the product gets to Amazon, Amazon is going to put another sticker over that called an FNSKU. And that's their Amazon Fulfillment Network's very specific number that they use for getting their products sent around through their warehouses. Now, I know it seems like double work, but what we're doing is we're thinking of your product in the future. That UPC is what every product in the world has. So if you're selling in Walmart or Target or Costco or Sam's, they have a UPC. So the reason we're telling you to do that now is if you want to expand into different marketplaces, you're ready to go. You don't have to change your UPC on your product. It'll always be the same. And also, if you want to expand your product into a different Amazon marketplace, the sticker, that FNSKU that you're having Amazon put on there right now, is specific to the marketplace you're selling in. So if you're selling in the US and you expand to Canada or Mexico, you'd have to change your packaging. Or if you want to sell over in Europe or Japan, you have to change your packaging because FNSKU is very specific to the marketplace on Amazon you're selling. So that's why, yes, we recommend you use UPC. You have your manufacturer put on the product, and then we recommend that Amazon puts that FNSKU over that. Or you can also use your freight forwarder to do that as well. So from Manaran, could you tell me a little more detail about the process after placing the order from our supplier? What is the difference between hiring someone to inspect the product in China before sending it to Amazon warehouse? Okay, so basically you place your order from your supplier, and then you could hire someone over in China to inspect your product before it gets to Amazon, because once your product gets to Amazon, you don't have the ability to inspect it again. Like, Amazon does not do product inspections for you. They do nothing for you. The only thing they'll do is they'll put on that FNSKU sticker we're talking about, and they may also do some other prep work, like putting things into a poly bag, a plastic sealed bag. But they don't do any kind of inspections. That's why if you're having your product inspected, they have to be done before they get to Amazon. The best option is to have that done in China. And you just post in the community. There are companies who do that very reliably and affordably in China. The next best option is, once your product gets into the United States, have your freight forwarder do the inspection for you as well before they send it to Amazon. Either one of those works just fine. From Azalea, if we order our first inventory in November or December, it's then Christmas time, and then later in January, it's Chinese New Year. Do we have to pay any special attention to something? Because with all that busy business, do manufacturers make mistakes? And is it possible for shipments to be delayed or lost or something? So I think what's happening here is, yeah, there is a ton of activity going on in November and December and then January, but don't worry about that. Like, that's the least of your concerns. I totally get it. As a business owner, you need to be aware of those things, but don't try to worry about things that are completely out of your control. And have a little faith in your manufacturers, because this is their business. They're used to this. And even though they may be focusing right now on getting orders out for all their suppliers for Christmas, they also always are looking for new companies to work with. So they want to get new businesses just like you and me in to make products for. And most of the manufacturers are done making their products for Christmas. If they're still manufacturing right now, there's very, very little chance they're going to be able to get those products in before Christmas time. So they are moving on to creating products for next year right now. Now, with Chinese New Year, you do have to take that into account. It's about a 2 or 3 week process near the end of January and into February that all the manufacturing plants are shut down. So you want to try to get your order in before then. But if you can't, don't worry about it. It's only going to delay your business by 3 weeks or so. But again, manufacturers used to this. They do this all the time. I wouldn't let any of that hold you up. Just make sure you find your product and get it ordered as quickly as you can. That's it. Okay, from Baranatoska. I just finished module 2 and I'm now at the end of module 3. But I think I'm stuck on the tariffs matter, and the tariffs are the taxes, import taxes. It seems that I'm the only one who's having this, that I am the only one who's having this issue. So I guess I found a product which has a high rate to import, but I don't know. Is it true that almost all products that come from China have had an increase on the custom duty rate? And could you speak a little bit more about this matter? So first, I'll answer the last part. Is it true that almost all parts that have come from China have had an increase? No, it's not. It may seem like it's a lot of products, but it's still a small percentage of the products that come from China. The majority of products that have had an increase in tariffs, the majority, not all, but the majority, are manufacturing product parts. So if you're a washing machine manufacturer in the United States and you get supplies or parts over in China, those are the types of products that have an increase in taxes. Now, don't get me wrong. there are other products that you and I will sell that have increases in tariffs, but the majority, but it's definitely not the majority of all products coming to China. But you're doing the right thing. You're checking into the list. The best thing to do is to go to the United States tariffs website. You just Google US tariffs and you'll see the website there. It'll allow you to look up the product that you're looking for, and it'll tell you what the current tariff rate is and if there are any increases on it. And that way you can factor that in. There are some tariffs, like products in generally have had a 10% increase if they already had a high tariff rate. So if you had a 17% tax rate, that'll be going up by 10%, going to 27 rate if your category is affected. So the most important thing is, if you're looking at a product, Google the tariff rates on Google, look it up and see if your product has had an increase. If you have any questions at all, contact your freight forwarder. One's in our private vault. Tell them that this is the product you're thinking about selling, and ask them if they can tell you if it's been affected by the increase in tariffs and what that tariff would be. From Mo Salah, and I believe who won our coaching call last week. Are we allowed to add a video to our listing? I've heard that not all sellers are allowed to do this, and I've seen some people on Fiverr who are offering just adding an already made video to listings. So first off, until you're brand registered, you do not have this option. Amazon is getting ready, it's still in beta, a seller video option for people so that sellers can add videos, but it's only in beta right now. Very few people have that option. So in general, you can't do that right now. You as a seller cannot add a video to your listing unless you're brand registered and you're able, and then not all brand registered people can do it. Only a select number of people can do it. If you see people on Fiverr willing to do that, most likely they're adding a video review, which shows up just below your listing. And that's still great. Now, and there's nothing really wrong with that. Well, you can't pay someone to give you a review in any way, but if you're someone who's giving you a review and they're putting a video of that review under your listing, that's awesome. That's going to show up and it's going to make your product look good. You just got to make sure that you're not paying them to do that, because you can't pay for review no matter what. And in particular, you can't pay for a positive review, especially. So yeah, you can't do that yet. Maybe coming later on down the road, and just keep that in mind that you will need to be brand registered. And in order to do that, you'll need to get a trademark. So that's something down the road that you'll want to look into. And this is my last one, Rich. I heard back from a lot of suppliers after sending the initial supplier contact that, let's see, a second. I heard back from my initial supplier after saying initial supplier contract for all my 3 hot opportunities. Now, after I choose one to move forward with, is it appropriate to contact the other 2 that I won't be using to let them know that I made a different product choice? At some point, I might pursue the other 2 products, and I don't want to burn bridges by leaving them hanging. Bispava, that is awesome. You are going to be successful in this business. That's exactly the kind of mindset that successful people have. So that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what I know some other people did. If you've chosen your supplier, I would definitely reach out, let the other suppliers know that you've chosen someone else. Give them the reasons. Just say, given your current budget and what you liked about the other product, you're going with them for now, but you really appreciate them giving you the quotes and the samples, and that if anything comes up that you want to do business with them in the future, you really will look forward to it. So definitely don't burn those bridges. Always keep other options open. And plus, your current supplier, if something ever happens, they don't work out, you have 2 other people that that you've definitely kept a good relationship and good rapport with, that you can reach out to and probably come in very quickly and become your new supplier should you need to do that. So, Rich, that is all the questions that I had.
Yeah, you've got a couple more in Skype, but I've also added about 6 for me, and I'm not sure how I got that so wrong. Like, how am I adding more questions for me than for you? So I'll rattle through mine, and then if there's 2 for you as well. Sorry, I didn't capture usernames here. So the question: do I need MBS, or can I write answers to my customers? MBS looks a little complicated for me, and I still don't get the point. Please give your opinion. MBS is vital for you. So let's say further down the road, you're making 50 or more sales a day, which you're going to be at some point. Trying to answer each one of those people, send a message to them individually, one at a time, is going to drive you insane and take up too much of your time.
Rich?
Yep.
I think we just lost your volume.
Can you hear me now?
It might be on my end. Hold on.
Mentors, can you hear me? Just post in Skype. I can see Tracy typing. Oh,
we can hear you now.
Yeah, I think it was. Okay, so mentors, if you can't hear me, like post in Skype and let me know. Where the heck was I? Oh yeah, MBS. So it may be a little bit tricky to set up to start with, but the training you get in the MBS tool is fantastic. Um, the point is, it's a little bit of work to set it up, but once you've set it up, you can forget all about it. Everything's done for you. So if you want to send 2 emails to each customer of yours, MBS does that all for you. It's a critical component of your business. It's the best, by far, the best tool out there that uses the Amazon email system, and you've got 12 months free as an ASMX member. So use it. If you're a little bit stuck on how to use it, go through their training videos. If you're still stuck, post in the community. It's such an important part of your business to use MBS. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in the training. Where's my next question? Kind of got lost now. Stop adding things, Mike. You're moving it. What is a backend keyword and what is the importance? So here's the thing. Go through module 5, the listing setup, and it shows you everything and explains what it is. Essentially, you want to add your keywords in your title and your bullet points because then they get indexed. So if someone searches for that keyword, they will see it. For words that you want to add as keywords that your product will be found by, but you can't find a way to squeeze them into your title and bullet points, you put them in the back-end search terms, and it means that they get indexed so your product can be found. Rich, is there a reason why you didn't recommend using the Wix autoresponder account and lead capture pages? Yeah, because I've never used them. At the time when I created the training for this, I gave you the best options that I knew of that were simple and reasonably priced. Here's the thing when it comes to the whole lead capture, building your list, you can choose whichever way you want to go down. Whatever way is easiest for you, delivers results, and is within your budget, use that if you wish. The training I gave is the simplest and cheapest way to get started on building your email list. You can go another way if you wish. As I say, I've never used Wix, their autoresponder account, or their lead capture pages directly. I think I actually did show, I can't remember now, it's been a while, how you create a landing page with Wix, but it's up to you. If you go through all that training, that's what I recommend as being the easiest and cheapest way to do it. You can by all means do it your own way. Rich, is it okay to start looking for a product now during Black Friday shopping? Would this mess up the BSR and reviews? So we covered this, I think, last week and the week before a little bit. The BSRs are going to jump around a little bit because it's Black Friday and then we've got Cyber Monday. So there's going to be a huge amount of sales. So more often than not, the products that are at the top are going to get insane amounts of sales. So their BSRs are going to fluctuate in a huge amount. You can still, by all means, look for a product. There's nothing stop you looking for a product. Just when you're looking at BSRs inside of Jungle Scout, click on the ranking number. It will show you a history. So what you want to look for is where it levels out, after a bit higher up, where it levels out, okay? If you're seeing like big, huge peaks and troughs, they're probably doing something or like doing a special offer, or it's Black Fridays is impacting it. Just look at the history. Alternatively, take a week off. Things will start to settle down in a week's time, a little bit, and it'll be a little bit more uniform. But you can use the Jungle Scout ranking history, and it's one of the most amazing features of Jungle Scout. It's one of the reasons I love it so much. I found a product that meets the ASM criteria, so the competition level should be okay. Correct. However, the primary product and one of the competing products both have very optimized listings. Is it better to avoid this product? No. Quite simply, no. Like, don't avoid a product because you're seeing that a couple of the competing products or whatever have really good listings and look optimized. You're going to learn exactly how to do as good, if not a better job than them anyway. And it's not a reason to rule out a product. Just remember, those 2 products, you don't have to beat those 2 products. If you follow all the criteria, being 3rd, 4th, 5th, or even on page 1 is going to be enough to make you sales and keep you moving forward. So don't worry if you look at a listing, because we see this a lot. People going, oh, it's an ASM member. So first of all, it might be, but the odds are, we actually looked at this and I can't remember what the percentage was, but like the number of our sellers compared to every other seller on Amazon is tiny percentage. But people learn, people look at other listings and they copy the ways of doing things, and that's the way it is. But just remember, like, you are getting the best training there is on creating a listing and optimizing a listing, and just as important, if not more importantly, how to launch your product. Don't let fears about someone else being good at what they do be enough to stop you launching a product, as long as it matches all the criteria. So my last one, Mike. I'm still in the process of product selection. Once I get my top 3, may I have the opinion of one of the mentors for these products? I just want to make sure I select the right product, follow all the ASM criteria. So one of the incredible bonuses we've given all of you ASMX members is 2 30-minute calls with one of our mentors. If you want to use one of those 30-minute calls to have them, look at your 3 hot opportunities and give their opinion on them, absolutely you can do that. That's why we gave these bonuses, for people who need that extra little push. So yes, like, all you need to do is contact support, tell them you want to take your 30-minute calls. You can arrange, we'll assign you a mentor. That mentor will help you with that question. And then your second call, you can save, until you've launched your product. But absolutely, that's what the mentor calls are there for. So that's me, Mike.
All righty. And I couldn't find those questions you were mentioning. I was trying to scroll through and find them. Do you remember what they were by any chance?
No, but I can read them because it's in our private Skype chat.
Yes, I know, but we have like 350 messages in our private.
5 questions back. Okay, here, I'll read them out to you, Mike. And I might throw in a little bit of a complicated one, just like not even here. If I send my first product to my house, then send it to Amazon warehouse, do I have to let Amazon know to do the FNSKU, or will they do it as long as I have the UPC number on my product?
Yes, they will do it as long as you have the UPC on your product.
Perfect. And I actually managed to get this person's username because I love this username. Team Magical Stuff. At Mike McCleary, when you inspected the products at your house, would you open every box and inspect the quality of each box? If so, how would you reseal the packages to appear new?
No, I did not open every single one. I just did a random. First thing I did is I looked at the shipping cartons they came in, make sure there was no damage. Sometimes there are. The corners get pushed in a little. I opened those up to make sure that the products inside then were or were not damaged. We had a couple that were damaged. I just pulled them out and I kept those as replacements. And then I randomly sampled a few products to make sure that everything was fine. How many? It's, if you order 300 units, I would check about 10 or 15 just to make sure everything is right. That's it. All right.
So as I said earlier, we're skipping the competition for this week. We're giving everyone a chance to go and post their why so they can take in the prize draw. I have got my one job done. I'm getting really good at this, Mike. The community helpers, so I'll read these out and then I'll leave it to you to close out. It's a shorter call this week, you may have noticed, and that's because obviously with the holidays and things, I think we've definitely got less people on the call this week. But obviously everyone's going to be able to watch this in the recording anyway. So the community helpers. So these people, I'm going to say it again. These people are amazing. They're helping people, fellow members in the community. They're taking time out of their own day to help out, to encourage, and you don't need to be an expert at this point to get this badge. It's about helping, encouraging, anything along those lines, basically being an active member of our amazing community. So there are some familiar names and there are a couple of new people, which is awesome to see. So the names I'm going to read out now, you're all going to get community helper badge. And who knows, next week you might actually win and get the free call. But so we have Claudio Robles, 63, Gavri Leak, Havri Leak, well, you know who you are. BLS Pava, Yutang Josh Lin, 1943. Excuse me. And this one, Oaken Sage, awesome job. Keep doing what you're doing, both you and oh my God, I've forgotten. Oh my God, we mention him every week. Mike, help me out. It's like our favorite username.
Oh my, is it Oak? Something Oak?
Oak and Sage is here. It's the other one. The mentors are probably screaming at me right now.
AC Ducey?
AC Ducey. There you go. So AC Ducey, right? So you've you two guys especially, Oak and Sage and AC Ducey, you keep doing what you're doing. You will definitely win one of the remaining 3 calls. But the winner this week, this person's been active since the very beginning. You know, we've mentioned it numerous times, and it's, at least I think it, I'm trying to remember now whether it's a man or a woman. I can't remember. I'm really sorry. Like, my brain's gone to pot today. But the winner is Mitz La Vista. So Mitz La Vista, congratulations. You've won a 30-minute call, an extra 30-minute call, because obviously as part of ASMX, you get 2 anyway. All you need to do is contact me about that extra call. In fact, actually, if you just, when you're ready to take any of your calls, if you contact support and you mention to them that you won a Community Helper of the Award Week badge, I'm sure that came out wrong. It sounded wrong. If you tell them that, then they'll know to assign 3 calls. And actually, one of our mentors helps with this before it even gets to me. So we'll get you sorted out. But fantastic job, everyone else. Keep doing it. You know, we've got 2 more weeks, and who knows, Mike might dig into his pockets and let us give away 2 prizes in 1 week. But he's kind of tight. But that's it for me, Mike.
There we go. Okay, hold on. I need to reply to one link here. Not making everyone hold while I type a response here, but I wanted, there was a specific question. It was product specific, so I didn't want to like go over on the call here. All right, so thanks everyone for being on this call. Remember, this Friday, 9 a.m., Module 6 opens up. It's all about launching a product. It also talks about, I forgot to mention this, it talks about another way to get your initial product reviews using something called Amazon Early Reviewer Program. That used to be only available for people who are brand registered. That's no longer the case. Anyone here can use that. So if you are worried you're going to struggle getting your product reviews, check out the Amazon Early Reviewer Program. It can be a game changer. It'll get you up to 5 reviews. But that's all covered in Module 6, opening this Friday at 9 a.m. Also, another reminder, next Tuesday will be our coaching call. 2 p.m. next Tuesday instead of Thursday. Again, we'll have an email sent out beforehand so you know that's coming. But that's all that I have today. So again, thanks everyone. Thanks Caleb behind here doing all the AV work. Thank you all the members sticking around this call for us and asking great questions. And also for promising to go and post your why if you haven't done that already. I'm thanking you in advance, maybe guilting you into doing it. And also want to thank the mentors, Steve, Elaine, Tracy, and Joanne. And Rich's arms went up because we finally mentioned Steve's name first. Usually we put him at the end because that's where he belongs.
And just so you know, Mike and I are going to pay for that now.
Yeah, we are. It's true. So if you're here in the States and you're celebrating Thanksgiving Day, have an awesome Thanksgiving. Be safe if you're traveling. I know we'll be on the road. If you're one of the members who's watching this and you're selling on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, be sure to post your results so we can all share in those awesome sales. That's it for this call. Thanks to everyone. Have a great week, and we will see you next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central. Take care and see you soon.